You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. I am Daniel.
I'm Clint. Welcome back to Locked On Bulldogs here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by the fine folks over at McDonald's. I'm loving it. Daniel and I are not franchise owners, although, I mean
could
not yet
be in the future. Who knows?
Could be in the future, like we've talked about.
10 years ago, I didn't think we'd be podcasters. So, 10 years, maybe we got a couple McDonald's franchises sprinkled around.
Daniel, I'm going to say this politely to us. I don't think anybody has called us podcasters. So, Speaking of which, Daniel and I do have a podcast. If you're on the audio version, on the YouTube channel, we are here. But we're fans first and foremost. We made this podcast because Daniel and I would get on the phone with each other every single Saturday and talk UGA football. And we thought, why don't we just strap some microphones right here into a computer in front of us, record what we talk about, and make a podcast about it? So we're here doing that thing. We're fans first and foremost, not gurus, insiders. And if you're a fan, you found the right place. As a matter of fact, dial on into that voice inbox and let us know. We might give a couple shout outs to you. Have questions, comments, insight. We might play it on this podcast. It's in the notes for the audio as well as the YouTube. You can find it on in there. But have some fun with us on this podcast. Don't take ourselves too seriously nor each other.
That's right. For fans, by fans. That's what the pod is all about. So glad that you are here. As Clint said, if you're on the audio, whether that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or the Google Play Store or Stitcher Radio or wherever you're finding that, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for leaving us a rating and review. Thanks for telling your friends about that. And then head on over to the YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube right now, Locked On Bulldogs on YouTube. We're there as well, video every day, 5 days a week. And so, subscribe to that channel. That is, that's the kindest thing you can do for us at this moment. Leave us a comment, thumbs up, all that stuff. But
1,000 subscribers by SEC championship, y'all get there.
That's right. 1,000 by the SEC championship. And then we're doing a little joint giveaway with the folks over at Dawgs Dispatch. So we'll see.
That's right.
We'll see how that goes. Go subscribe to that newsletter and the YouTube channel to be eligible for that. All right. All that is all well and good, Clint. At Dawgs Podcast on Twitter, lockedonbulldogs@gmail.com is the email. But it's Thursday.
There you go.
None of this conversation means anything. What means something on Thursday is that it's time to start getting serious about Saturday. Okay. We've had some fun times this week.
We have.
All right. I've been eating just bratwurst all week, just covered in mustard, just slathered in mustard. I've been playing some golf this week. I'm trying to think of what else do they throw on the field besides golf balls and mustard. Been drinking a lot, been staying hydrated. So there's lots
have you been gnawing on some gas station chaw and then spitting it everywhere into random bottles?
That's not been doing that, so I'm not committed to the bit that much. But now's the time to get serious. It's locks. We're going to give you some predictions for college football games, some games of interest around the country, and most importantly, we're going to talk about that Georgia-Tennessee game, and that's where we should start. Before we get into that, Clint, may I have 90 seconds?
You're on the clock starting now.
The Georgia basketball team won a game on Tuesday night. I asked if I could have 90 seconds. You said yes, and I'm taking it. Georgia basketball team won on Tuesday night. And let me just give you the good. Let me just give you the worst part and the good. The worst part is that it took us 10 minutes and 45 seconds of the season to score our first basket from a half-court set. Tom Crean might be the worst half-court coach in the history of college basketball, and this might be the worst half-court offensive team that Georgia has ever seen. It is unimaginable how bad we are from the half court. there are going to be long droughts of scoring. Now, on the positive side, this Georgia team is a better defensive team than we've had in a while. There's a little bit of addition by subtraction with some of the people that we lost on the defensive side of the ball. So what we lost in offense, we might make up for in defense. This FIU team might actually be pretty good, and we won by 7 points. I bought the line down to 6.5, and so I cashed in, and that was my time.
You're done. That was it.
That was it.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. You missed it all.
No. Did I? Hey, let's get to football now that is over. I just heard you say Tom Crean might be the worst coach, and after that, I didn't understand. It was just the half court. I just heard he's the worst coach. Is all I heard. Hey, let's talk about football. Let's talk about Tennessee. The line in the game started over at 20. I think it's held steady most places. I don't know if you can get it lower than that. Daniel bought down that half point, and good on him for that with the basketball game. If you buy down a half point, 19.5, I don't know if it's going to do you any good. Daniel, how do you see this game?
It might.
I said I don't know. How do you see this game going after all the prognostication this week?
Yeah, all week, I have been on 42-17 and 38-17 as the two most likely scores in the game. Okay? I made that. I handicapped that line. I made that before I looked at any of the game lines. Well, what do you know that 38-17 is a 21-point victory by the Dawgs, and the over-under in this game is at 55, and well, looky there. 38-17 happens to be 55 total points. So, do I feel great about a side? No, I would lean maybe the over and maybe lean Georgia in that based on my initial prognostications. Didn't feel great about either of them. Now, as we move forward in the week, Clint, I'm actually starting to shift the way I feel about the total. I'm actually starting the later we get in the week to lean under this number.
Yes, sir.
And I'm here to tell you that it's because Tennessee's not going to score 17 points, Clint.
Look, two things. Vegas is telling me something weird with this number, Daniel. Okay? Tell me something very weird. Tell me one more time, what's the total?
55, 56.
55. 56, 55, and 20 is the spread.
Yep.
Right? Okay. So and how many points does Georgia give up on average throughout the season, Daniel?
6.5.
Okay, 6.5. Some about these lines don't add up to me the more I put them side by side. Okay.
38-17. That's what Vegas thinks the score is going to be, or 37-17. And so you take that, and if you don't think Tennessee's going to score 17 points, you might wait. You might bet the Tennessee team total under 17. That might be the best bet of the day, because
I'm telling you right now. Do you know, we're going to get to about this maybe tomorrow when we get excited, don't sleep on. Do you know what percentage of plays Tennessee runs the ball, Daniel? Runs in the high-powered vertical offense of Hoople. 62% of the time they run. Now, I digress to a little bit of hold the phone. What does Kirby like stopping, Daniel? Explosive plays and run. Okay, now I get it. They're going to be going. We won't be able to get into our sets, but it doesn't matter. Guys, when we have the horses we have on defense, when Jalen Carter and Trayvon are out there most of the time because they're going to be down there for 3 downs, or we get an incomplete or a run stuff, it's hard to do when you're getting negative plays to get back on the ball really quick and get 2nd and 11 or 2nd and 10 from the sheet. Offensive coordinator says 1st and 10, give me 4. And then he goes, great, 2nd and 6. Well, all of a sudden he goes 2nd and 10. He goes, oh, shoot. Everything changes in his head, play call wise. I don't think they get 17. I don't think they get 14. I think they get 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that range. I think I'm nervous about conservative Kirby. I'll be totally honest. I'm nervous. Yep. Okay. So I can't take us. He's going to just try to milk that thing. I'm not taking us and the points. Can't do it. But you know one that I can take?
Okay.
First half point spread is 11.
Okay. Ooh, you like Georgia minus 11?
I love Georgia minus 11 to start the half, to get out in the half. I think we're going to come out. We are going to get a couple of scores. I don't think they get up and going. I think their points come later on in the contest. I think they get a late fourth quarter touchdown, just like everybody's tried, but they're going to poke one through. But I don't think they're going to score theirs. I think we're going to be consistent enough. I actually think this defense, Tennessee defense, is worse than Missouri's defense, to be totally honest with you. I think they're undisciplined. I don't think they play very well. They're not good. Give me my first lock is Georgia first half minus 11 is what I'm giving to you people.
Yeah, I'm locking up the minus 20. I'm locking it up for the full game. I love the later we get in the week, the more I love it. And you said it, Clint. We might talk more about this tomorrow. We've not really had a chance. You know, when we've had these guests on, it's been great to get some perspective from them about this game. You and I have not really had a chance to give our thoughts on this game, but we've been talking all week about this tempo, Clint. It's tempo.
Sure. 75 plays, 80 plays a game, sure.
60% run, Clint. 65% run, Clint. You can't run the ball on Georgia. Hey, you can't run the ball on Georgia. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you
put
are.
Whatever formation, put in personnel. I don't care.
Listen, you can't run tempo if you don't get first downs. Do you understand? We don't get tired when you don't get first downs. So I'm not worried about the tempo in this game. I think Kirby's going to try to stretch that thing out. That's why the over-under makes me a little nervous. Might we score a lot? Yes. Might we not score a lot? Correct. But the minus 20, I think, Georgia's getting 35 points in this game. Okay? So there's your 20 right there. Okay, so they get 13, 14 points, 10, 13, 14, whatever. That's your 20 right there. And so give me UJ minus 20. You're taking the first half minus 11. Those are our first two locks of the week. We got more that we're going to talk about, and we will get to right after this.
But first, we'll tell you about the fine folks over at McDonald's. And McDonald's is not just tasty fast food done right. It is a community center for most people. It's been part of the community for several decades. McDonald's does things right, whether it's after a Little League baseball game, whether it's after flag football, whether it's after any community event. If you're doing going there to study late at night, by the way, gosh, what is late at night anymore? Does that like 10:30 to people? Is that late for y'all? Because it's late to me.
Like to be up.
You get endless fries, endless McFlurries, reliable Wi-Fi, whatever it is that you are going there for. You're going there because McDonald's is part of the community, not just good food. Daniel and I have been there several times. Give me some chicken nuggets. Give me those fries, those tasty, delicious fries. Don't get me started on the documentary one more time. One day that will be the ad read. I'll just do the whole documentary of how those fries taste. Head over to McDonald's right now. I'm loving it.
All right, Clint, how many locks you got for the people today? We've each given out one.
We got one. Yep. I have, after the Georgia, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to go.
Well, you better start because I may only have 3 or 4. Just depends on how I'm feeling as we go. Why don't you start? And then if we run out of games to cover, I might just throw out some games. We might just give some feels at the end of the pod. We'll see how far we get because there's some interesting games this weekend.
Okay. I'm going to go straight when teams suck, Daniel, when teams have no talent, when teams have nothing to go, you go on streaks, on hot streaks, okay? You go on emotional tide of teams. Missouri got demolished by us, just cracked in half. Okay.
Correct.
Drinkovich had no clue what he was doing out there. Tried everything, demoralizing to try for that fourth quarter touchdown against third stringers and not be able to get in. South Carolina, on the other hand, all up in their feels. A lot of confidence. Got a walk-on or a transfer quarterback. They're trying their 16th quarterback of the year over there. Shane Beamer is hugging people that he thinks are his wife that aren't his wife. Just so excited. Just anybody, everybody, come on in.
Let's just hope it's not Dan Mullen's wife.
Well,
just for the record. Ease up up on the Dan Mullen wife talk. Okay,
I simply say what I see. So if you can't handle Dan Mullen's wife literally forcing young men to kiss her, then that's on you, not on me, Florida fan.
South Carolina yacht involved.
Okay, I can't even. South Carolina is a pick'em against Missouri. Daniel.
Yep.
These are not talented team. I get that it's on the road, so it's actually a 2.5, 3-point favorite for Missouri. Missouri is not a better team. They're just not a better team. They don't have their quarterback. That kid can't hack it. Give me South Carolina in this game, Daniel.
Ooh-wee. Listen, I don't have a lock in this game, but let me just say for the record, thoughts and prayers to anyone who has to watch this football game. Because
I will not be watching it.
This is unwatchable. Absolute abomination. Right. Let me go here to the big noon nooner.
Yes,
I'm going to take you to the big noon nooner. I don't even know if this is the big noon nooner. I think it's actually the ABC game.
It has to be the big noon nooner just by the team headlines. It has to be, whether it is or not.
I'm going Michigan Penn State. Michigan, obviously, top 10 team in the country, ranked ahead of Michigan State by the College Football Playoff Committee, Clint. I say again, Michigan, who 2 weeks ago lost to Michigan State and has now the same record as Michigan State with a head-to-head loss 2 weeks ago. Michigan is ranked ahead of Michigan State. These are the things that we're supposed to just accept and say, I guess these people know what they're doing. They were put on the committee, after all, so surely they know. Listen, Penn State has looked bad. Okay?
Real bad.
That Illinois game, quite possibly one of the ugliest games I've ever watched in my entire life. Went to 74 overtimes, and the final score was under 20. But I think Penn State last week, or 2 weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago, against Ohio State? I think they've started to figure some things out. I think they're starting to round into form a little bit. This game's at home for them. I know it's not a night game in Happy Valley, but it is a big noon nooner in Happy Valley.
By the way, it is, in fact, a noon game, just so you know.
It is the big noon nooner, but I think it's on ABC. It's not on Fox. That's what I'm saying. It's not the noon nooner.
I gotcha.
I don't trust Michigan's offense in big games. That's it. That's the end of the tweet. I don't trust Michigan's offense in big games. So give me Penn State +1. Can I get a point? I think I can get a point and a half. Give me Penn State +1.5 at home against Michigan.
I don't hate that pick at all. Look, Pac-12, Big Ten. These are the two conferences that are an abomination and shouldn't be watched. You can bet on them, but shouldn't be watched. Okay, it's not good football. No. Hey, we're gonna come back after this.
We just talked about Missouri, South Carolina, just to be clear, which is
we just took the lower garbage can, the film that's left in after you take the garbage bag out, compared to the upper crust of their conference, and they're equal.
I wouldn't say they're equal, but also Missouri and South Carolina are not the worst teams in the SEC East. So just
okay, all right, fair enough. We're gonna come back to this right after Daniel tells you about BetOnline.
BetOnline.ag is your online sportsbook expert. They're the place to go to place all these wagers. If you want to bet Georgia money line, if you want to bet Georgia -20, if you want to bet Georgia -11 first half, all these types of wagers you can get at betonline.ag. Go there right now, enter the promo code Locked On, and you'll get a 50% bonus on your initial deposit. That is free money with which to bet on all of these games. We've got more that we're going to give out. We are making you money all season long on these picks. And if you go to betonline.ag right now, you can get in on the action. betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts.
Daniel, I'm going to take you to a game of much interest. There are, I think, 2 games of playoff implication. Okay?
Well, I mean, technically speaking, all the top 6 teams have playoff implication.
I understand.
But yes,
I'm talking chaos playoff implication. Maybe 3. Okay. There are 3 games that have chaos implications. I'm betting on 2 of them. Okay?
Ooh.
2 of the chaos makers.
Is it a chaos bet?
Is it a what?
Always bet on chaos. Is it a chaos bet? You're betting on chaos?
I am betting on chaos, Daniel. I'm betting on chaos.
I support these.
Baylor Bears, how'd they look last week? Good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. They didn't look particularly great. They eked out. They didn't look superb on offense nor defense. And yet another team that hasn't looked superb on offense or defense is the Oklahoma Sooner. Okay.
Here we go.
Now, this game is at noon. This might be the big nooner officially.
This is the actual big nooner.
Baylor
Quinn's on site at this game. That's not a joke. He actually works for Fox, and he will be on site wearing a necktie that has got just like a knot. It's just takes up the whole region.
How come Brady Quinn looks like some prom cutout at Men's Warehouse in 1995? How come he just looks like the cardboard cutout for your prom tux in 1995? Golly. Dawson's Creek called and said, you're cast. Okay, sorry, right, I digress. Oklahoma, not a good football team. I'm not scared of them at all. They don't have offense. They don't have defense. Caleb is their offense, and he has to do some magician type stuff to win. 5.5 points is the spread, and Baylor's getting 5.5. I am banking on chaos and Baylor making this game. I think Baylor is hungry. I think they didn't look good last week because they were looking ahead to this game, Daniel. That is how I think it was going. Give me Baylor plus 5.5.
Well, I did not lock this up, so I feel good that I don't have to fight you, but I was strong lean towards Oklahoma here, so I will be interested in this game. I do think Oklahoma is a substantially better team than Baylor, but I do not trust Oklahoma enough to lock them up, and so I always cheer for chaos. I'm going to take you to a team that righted the ship a bit last week. I'm going to go back to the SEC, and I'm going to go back to our old friend Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman been on a bit of a skid as of late, but last week picked up a win against Mississippi State, a ranked Mississippi State team, by the way, last week. Arkansas picks up a win against Mississippi State, gets things back on track, and now Arkansas has got LSU on the schedule this week. Now, LSU, is that a team that is playing above their previous season outlook? Absolutely. LSU, early in the season, you would have thought LSU is not going to win 2 more games for the rest of the year.
Nope.
And now all of a sudden they come out, they beat Florida, which turns out that's not that great of a win. So didn't really help. But then last week against Alabama, played really well, hung in there. The defense looked good. The offense, I love Mark Richt so much that I'm not going to say what the LSU offense looked like because that's the man's nephew out there. So I'm not trying to say anything about it.
It's bad. It's bad.
It's bad. I think Sam Pittman and the Arkansas team continue to roll here, and it's less than a field goal. So give me Arkansas minus 2.5. Death Valley doesn't scare me because LSU fans have quit on the season, just like LSU players have quit on the season. And so give me Arkansas minus 2.5 going to LSU this weekend. I think the Hogs continue to roll.
A team that was good early on in the season, I think, has hit some potholes, growth pains, if you will, as this program. I actually like this program. I think it's heading in the right direction. It's Boston College. Boston College is starting to make some foundational plays. They're a good program. They had some success early on. They've kind of just hit neutral throughout the season. They're not making big splashes, but I'll tell you what, Georgia Tech is not good, Daniel. Old Geoff is we thought Geoff was going to surprise some folks this year.
Yeah, I did. I was wrong.
To begin the season, we thought the quarterback play was going to be elusive and athletic. The defense had come along just enough. But Boston College is catching 2 points against Georgia Tech. Catching 2 points, +2 for BC. And
how?
That's what I mean.
What?
Like I look at some lines, and this line of 2 isn't the 2.5, or it's not the 3. It's not that field goal range. It's 2. Georgia Tech just isn't a good football team. They get boat raced in a lot of these games, not just like crushed, boat raced. And Boston College is good enough to keep things going. So give me Boston College +2.
I'm gonna take you to out to the ocean, Clint. Out to the old South Carolina Ocean. No, we're gonna go. We're talking about the Chanticleers for a moment.
The fighting chickens.
The Coastal Carolina Chanticleers are hosting Georgia State. Now,
okay.
Coastal Carolina's quarterback hurt out. Okay, that kid. What's his name? McCall. This is the heart and soul of the team. He's their offense, and so Coastal's been waxing people all year. McCall's out, and that's going to impact this team. But Georgia State is not good. It is homecoming in Coastal Carolina. And I think the rest of the Coastal Carolina team and the Coastal Carolina offensive system is such that they are going to continue to be able to move the ball, probably not with the same effect as they had with McCall, for sure. That is an all-conference player that they're losing. But I think this line is under 10. I got it at 9. Coastal Carolina -9. That is not enough points to lay when you have a really good team, not just a really good player, but a really good team going up against a Georgia State team that is really not good. And so give me Coastal Carolina -9 for maybe my last lock. No, it's not.
Okay.
I got one more.
Okay. The Chanticleers lock it up. I'm going to go chaos play, and I'm going to tell you something. This line is 20.5. I'm going to tell you the team that's favored by 20.5, how many times they have won by 20.5 this year. Game 1, no. Game 2, no. Game 3, they won by 21 points. That's 1. Then they beat Akron, Rutgers, and Maryland by more than 20.5. None of those teams are good. Not a single one. My bad for even trusting Rutgers to even field a somewhat competent against Wisconsin. That's on me. Look, totally on me. I get it.
Yep.
And Indiana is not a good team. They quit on it. And then,
really
so those
bad.
are 4 games. And then Ohio State, who I'm talking of here, didn't beat Penn State and didn't beat Nebraska by 20.5. Now they get the giant killer Purdue. Now, is Purdue facing a heater right now? Absolutely. They are just on this raucous roll. Do you know what continues to travel well and play well in no matter what situation you're in? Not taking down the Giants, being close in games, and playing just sound, fundamental football, and sprinkling a little magic here and there with a 3 reverse, everybody out on a screen for a wide receiver. I don't know how many offensive linemen they had. It looked like 22 on that one play.
People coming in off the sidelines on that play.
just tagging people in like it's Bash Brothers back in the day. Purdue is catching 20.5 points. And I am banking on chaos. This game is going to be close. Ohio State, not as good as previous Ohio State teams. Purdue is still a good team. So give me Purdue plus 20.5. That's too many daggum points.
I thought about it. I thought long and hard about it. I think John Tweed Sports gave this out on Monday.
He did.
Tuesday, whatever that was. This was a Tuesday lock. All right, Clint. Sometimes you just got to go just demented, just sick. Sometimes you just got to get into the gutter on these locks, okay? Because
where the hell are you taking us?
just people drop money down there in that gutter. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you got to get down in the gutter because sometimes there's money down there.
Sometimes there's a clown ready to cut your arm off.
Yeah, this could be that. This could definitely be that. but also could be money. Okay. All right. Here's the thing.
Okay.
Alabama is favored by 51.5 points.
It's a lot of points
against New Mexico State. Now,
have you seen New Mexico State play?
Are there 5 worse teams in the FBS than New Mexico State? The answer is no. There are not 5 worse teams in the FBS against New Mexico State. So here's the question I'm asking. Should Alabama, not could Alabama beat anyone by 52 points? Because that answer is obviously yes. There's a scenario where Alabama could beat somebody by 52 points. My question is, should Alabama be favored by 51.5 points against anyone? And the answer to that question is no. And so I will be proudly taking New Mexico State plus 51.5 on Saturday. All I need is 6 points from them, and there's no way I lose this bet. And listen, act like they can't score 6 points against Alabama.
Famous last words of every bettor. If they score 6, I can't lose.
Listen, this New Mexico State is covering 51.5. Alabama is not that good offensively, and they are not that good defensively. They do not have it in them to cover this 51.5
spread is what this is. This is just name recognition, which I don't hate this bet at all. I know I just gave you crap for it, but I don't hate this bet. Hey, that does it for Locks. We'll be back tomorrow talking about Excited, Nervous, Don't Sleep On, in which we will break down Tennessee a little bit more detail, talking about what we are most excited about, most nervous about, and finally, don't sleep on this factor of the game. He is Daniel. I'm Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs here on Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. See you later.